The cat in Coraline is actually a witch, and I'm gonna prove it. We get introduced to the cat very early on in the movie. We actually see the cat before we even see Coraline. The cat comes out of the bushes and watches as a moving truck leaves the pink palace. The cat then starts to follow Coraline as she explores her backyard. Honestly, this scene doesn't seem that important, and I didn't think so at first either, but I want you to remember this, because it's actually going to be a very important clue to understanding the cat later. Anyways, Coraline starts feeling she's being followed, so she chucks a rock in the direction of the sound. She hits the cat and gets terrified and starts booking it towards the well, where she then meets face to face with the cat. One thing about this interaction that stands out to me is that the cat actually understands English. No normal cat can just respond to English the way this cat does. Coraline asks the cat, "I'm just looking for a well, know it?" And the cat nods his head downward towards the well. Interesting. Anyways, YB comes by on his bike, literally almost hitting Coraline, making her fall to the ground, which I'll never understand why he did this, but we get some more information on the cat. Coraline thinks this cat is YB's, which we find out it actually isn't. This cat is feral, wild, and YB does feed it every night, but it doesn't have a home. Also, a very interesting thing about this is that he says, "Sometimes he will come by my window." Believe it or not, this is actually a very important line, and it will tie together so well later. But we're still gathering information, so we don't really see much of the cat for a while, Coraline's busy venturing to the tunnel for the first time, meeting her neighbors and a bunch of stuff until YB comes by playing with slugs. YB then starts talking about the pink palace, kind of giving the vibe that he wants to go inside. The cat looks very concerned and kind of mad about this, and actually gets genuinely alarmed when YB tells Coraline about how his grandma's sister was stolen after entering this house, and the cat comes down at the exact second and leaves with YB. This part is very interesting. It further confirms that the cat definitely understands English, but also the way the cat is listening and reacting is very interesting to me as well. There's so many ways to decipher this. I want to think for now the cat is just spooked as he looks towards the pink palace with kind of fear, but there might be a deeper meaning we have to find out. So Coraline enters the tunnel another time and does the whole shebang again, going to the circus with fake YB and going clothing shopping with her real mother, and then they return back home, and her mother leaves to go get groceries, leaving Coraline all alone to go see if the tunnel is open again. And it's open again. Then we see the cat. He's watching Coraline as she enters the tunnel, and his reaction here opens up some theories. He looks pretty annoyed, like, what an idiot. But one thing that interests me is the fact he doesn't look shocked whatsoever. He's definitely seen this tunnel before. He is well aware of the other world. Also, his reaction kind of looks like a, oh my, not again. Like he's been going through a charade with other kids from this house. That might be a stretch right now, but maybe not. More simply though, he could just be thinking she's an idiot. So Coraline goes back into the other world and we see the cat. And my first thought, and Coraline's first thought, is that this is the other cat. Because we don't really see the cat go into the door, but he has no buttons. And also he says,
"I'm not the other anything, I'm me."
Yeah, also he speaks. The cat can actually speak like a human, which is so weird and raises so many questions. But let's just focus on the scene for a second. Coraline asks, how can he talk? And he says,
"I just can."
Doesn't really give us much. Also, right after this, we start seeing him teleport, which isn't something regular cats can do. He obviously has some powers that for now are unexplained. We also learn that the cat knows Beldam and plays a game with her. You see, she hates cats and tries to keep him out, but can't. But the most important part of this dialogue is when the cat starts explaining how this world isn't what Coraline thinks it is, and that it's actually darker than meets the eye. He also explains that other YB told him this. Anyways, the cat mid-explaining gets distracted and just dips, leaving Coraline and us with a humongous cliffhanger. Coraline carries on though and thinks that he's just bugging, so she goes and attends the dog theater with her retired acting neighbors, who then become their younger selves and give this crazy cool performance. But who cares, right? Where's the cat? Well, Coraline finally realizes that this world is pretty dark after being offered the button eyes, and she tries escaping, running out the back door, meeting up with the cat once again, and he starts spilling stuff, showing he actually does know more about this world than we would expect. The cat first questions what she's doing, and she says she's getting out of this world. But then they reach this white void of nothing, which the cat explains as the empty part of this world, which shows he has explored the world and understands it. Not only that, but he even says,
"She only made what she thought would impress you because she wants something to love, I think."
Now him saying "I think" is because he was playing a little joke, because right after this he says,
"Or she just wants something to eat."
Which at this point sounds crazy, like yeah right. But later in the movie we see that she literally consumes the souls of children, so he was spot on. And how could he know that? Coraline hasn't been ate yet. Even more proof is when the cat eats one of the mice, knowing exactly what he was doing. The mice was alerting Beldam, and he also knows that it will turn into a rat. This really isn't his first rodeo. Then the cat just dips again, right after, like always, leaving her with the fate of going to face Beldam with all this new scary knowledge alone. And that's where we learn that she does eat kids and is terrifying, blah blah. Then she escapes back home, and her parents are gone, and she has to sleep alone with her pillow parents. until she's led to her parents stuck in a mirror, to which the cat shows her exactly what happened. And then they enter back in the tunnel together to save her parents. Also, I want to note, as soon as they hit the tunnel, he starts talking, which is incredibly interesting, because technically they aren't in the other world yet, and he can talk? Now there's a bunch more scenes with the cat, like him telling her Beldam likes games, being thrown at Beldam and clawing her eyes out, him chilling with Coraline when she gets home to check on her, and him trying to stop her from leaving to the well, but they aren't that important. Until a very important scene happens that I feel flies right under the radar. So when Coraline's going to the well to get rid of the key to the other world, she's losing bad to Beldam's hand. But YB comes out of nowhere and helps her, and they whoop Beldam together. And cool, right? But after all of this, Coraline says, "I'm glad you stalked me." And YB says, "Well, it wasn't my idea," and looks at the cat, signaling that it was the cat's idea. This probably doesn't seem that crazy, but really think about it. How could this cat have told YB to stalk Coraline by meowing and nudging his body? This meaning the cat would have had to talk to YB and told him directly, meaning the other world isn't what gives him powers. He always had his powers, but just refused to talk to Coraline with them in the real world, which kind of makes sense. That would be kind of scary. This is also proven in the end, when the cat vanishes behind the Pink Palace sign. Okay, so after all that information, what's the explanation behind this crazy mysterious cat? Well, the cat is a witch, just like Beldam. I don't know where Beldam originated from, but wherever she came from, I think the cat was created too. Like they say, evil can't exist without good. Beldam wanted to be evil and strived for power, and found out by consuming the essence of kids, she could become stronger. The cat didn't like this and made it his purpose to protect these kids, which he does. From the beginning of the movie, he's around YB, primarily, because he's a kid and that's Beldam's prey. Not only is this proven by the cat being around YB all the time, but also when YB says the cat comes to his window every night, the cat comes to his window every night to check on him and make sure that he's safe, because this is the time that Beldam strikes and lures kids to the door. Then once Coraline moves in, instantly from the day they moved in, he kept a close eye on her and had YB do so as well. Now him being a cat is kind of confusing, but it becomes less when you realize that Beldam can shapeshift into anything she wants. The cat could easily have picked the form of a cat, because kids love cats, and it's more comforting than a random dude hanging out with some kids. Also earlier I mentioned that the cat states that Beldam hates cats. This could be another reason why. If the cat's trying to ruin Beldam's plans and trying to make her lose and be mad, this is the perfect morph to be because, well, she hates cats. It's perfect. Also, throughout the entire movie, we get so much proof that the cat has a deep history with Beldam. The way he reacts when YB brings up his grandma's sister at first seems like he's just spooked. But now, after this information, it seems like he reacted this way because of trauma. This was one of the kids he couldn't protect, and it bothers him, which is another reason why he keeps such a close eye on YB. He doesn't want to fail another member of the family. Not only that, but the cat knows the entire plan Beldam has before it's even shown to Coraline or us. Like I said earlier, he's been through this before. And you can't tell me this is just some regular random cat that can teleport, speak English, and shapeshift. It can be theorized that the Beldam created this cat, but I highly doubt it. The Beldam hates cats, and would never create a being who could outsmart and be more powerful than her. So I feel like that theory couldn't really follow through. The cat is a witch. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking.